Happy New Year.
Hi, y'all.
Welcome to 2025.
Listen, thought we never get out of 2024.
It's following me. It's following me.
It is.
Apologies for the nasally sound and the pink eyes. I brought my
Oh,
sicknesses.
I forgot about the pink eye.
Oh, yeah, they're real bad.
Just thinking about everything else.
I've brought everything from 2024 to 2025. Just hanging on by a thread.
I think we're just going to have to put you in like a hazmat suit and a bubble.
Yeah, it's getting serious around here. And we're snowed in. We have 16 inches of snow.
Whew. When you sent me that picture yesterday of how high it was, that's just a lot.
Yeah, I'll have to take one from our front door this morning. It's very alarming. But also, I don't know if you noticed, there's some new windows and some new wallpaper in the background.
Which means
new house.
Woohoo!
Oh my gosh, if we were at the other house in this, that wouldn't be
great.
2 seconds from glory, I can tell you. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. Now, there's nothing is unpacked, but
listen, props to you though for getting moved in. I didn't know how you guys were going to do it.
Us either. We got moved in. Yeah. Aaron's friend Rob gave us a hand and we got moved in and nothing has been unpacked. And I know you're thinking like we were off last week. Yeah. I had 14 sicknesses and the broken hand and I had to watch a lot of football this weekend. So
a lot
of football. But before we talk about football, last night the Golden Globes happened in Hollywood. And
yeah, they did.
Did you watch?
They snuck up on us this year.
Yeah. Well, and I got to thinking, I was like, maybe an hour before it started, I was like, is Taylor going to the Golden Globes? And then I was like, oh, wait, no. She went last year because she was nominated for that Cinematic Achievement Award.
Okay. That makes sense now.
But yeah, I felt like it was quick. You want to start with fashion?
Sure. I didn't really read up on who won anything, so that's where I'm at.
What were your favorite looks? I know you had some opinions.
I did. So Dakota Fanning wore this red dress, but I just thought the color looked really good on her. The fit was really pretty. It was just really pretty. Here's my thing. Golden Globes and Oscars, that's where I feel like you should go like uber gorgeous, stunning. Don't stick with the simple, straight down statue type dresses, but also don't try and be edgy. That's not, I feel like Golden Globes and the Oscars is a very traditional, classical thing. A lot of people I felt played it too safe. Also, color matching is apparently not a thing in Hollywood because so many of the women were wearing colors that did not suit their skin color or their hair.
They need that person to come over and tell them with
right?
the sweaters.
A couple swatches. Figure it out, guys. Yeah. So Dakota Fanning, Georgina Chapman was stunning. Her dress was gorgeous. And then for the men, for me, Coleman Domingo, I thought he looked great. I love a nice simple tux, but again, this is elevated because it's Golden Globes, so you don't want to go crazy. Please, men, don't go shirtless. A couple of the guys had suit jackets with no shirt. What are we doing? No.
This is not a runway.
Yeah, but Coleman I thought he was very handsome, very dapper, so I appreciated that.
Yeah, I wondered if his was kind of a pre-taste of what we're going to get at the Met.
Yes, agreed.
So, yeah.
Did you have any that stuck out to you that you really liked?
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people played it safe. There were some that, I mean, let's face it. When Hollywood says what they love, I typically am like, what? I don't get it. There were some that I just didn't love. As much as I love Selena Gomez, I did not like the color nor her hair.
Yeah. But she looked better, healthier, and happier than she normally looks when she's out.
Well, it's probably that very large marquee diamond on her left hand.
That'll do it.
She was not the only one sporting a new diamond on her left hand.
Not the only one. That is for sure.
Zendaya was definitely wearing what appears to be an engagement ring. And I think it's like kind of come out now that maybe he proposed at her family home between Christmas and New Year's. Tom Holland. I did not like her look. I did not like her hair. And that was a sad miss for me. Like I was sad about that. I tell you who I thought was stunning was Demi Moore.
Gorgeous.
She
looked great.
And I didn't realize, yeah, Lord, I didn't realize in all these years, this is the first time she's won an award.
I didn't realize that either because I kept seeing people make a big deal about it, and I was like,
I just thought it was like maybe she was making a comeback, but no, like apparently this is the first time she's ever won an award. So I really enjoyed hers. Nicole Kidman, I didn't mind hers, but I feel like she has looked the exact same for 30 years now.
Yeah. Now the hair was a situation.
There was a lot.
Like I completely understand having extensions, doing a wig even, because there are some women that can pull off a very well curated wig that looks real. Mm-hmm. That was a very fake ponytail with a lot of extra in it. And somebody else also had a very voluptuous ponytail that I thought, well, that looks like you went to the dollar store and grabbed some hair off the shelf.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. My male that I liked, I had two. I really liked the velvet look that Glenn Powell had on.
Okay.
But I also really enjoyed Adam Brody's green tux. I thought it was classic, nice, but a little spin on it. I thought it was nice that Leighton kind of complimented color-wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought Nikki Glazer.
Yes. All of her looks were beautiful.
I thought she looked amazing, and I thought she did a fantastic job. Her opening monologue was so good.
Yeah.
The jokes about Benny Blanco really made me laugh. It also made me laugh that she said that Timothy Chalamet had the little eyelashes on his lip. Because nobody has looked more awkward in facial hair than Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. Listen, after we had Joe Coy last year for host, listen, they needed somebody great, and she did good. Listen, when they come out to do the opening monologue, it is at the celebrity's expense. You know, all the jokes are about them. I did not feel like she was disrespectful, though, in her jokes, which is, I think, what makes her a better comedian.
Yeah. I mean, I think it makes you seem more intelligent, but maybe that's just me. That you can, like,
she didn't go for low-hanging fruit. You had to think about it. Yeah.
Well, you could deliver, but not, like, diminish. I don't know. I thought it was good. Yeah. She was really great. There were quite a few looks I thought were kind of atrocious. And then people I was just confused by. Like, what is Miley Cyrus doing there? Like,
yeah, I also thought that maybe Miley thought that this was the Golden Globes of the 90s because
we were a little also something I'm not loving right now, even though we're not in the Y Factor segment, is the baby bangs that Ariana Grande has going on.
I can't figure. So she's on my worst dress list.
Is it because I don't like her?
No.
Or are those weird?
The hair is weird. The color is weird.
Yeah. Like, what did we do?
I cannot figure out if she's trying to. Well, at first I thought maybe she's like on her hair health journey and she's trying to grow out her own and not have extensions. But then I thought if you were worried about that, you wouldn't be coloring it this atrocious color that you have done. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, her whole family kind of looked like a train wreck to me. Her mother looked like Elizabeth Taylor on Ozempic, sort of.
Yeah. And her dress just looked like you took it off like I don't know, a maternity Barbie.
Or like the Bridgerton costume room.
Yeah. It was not a flattering fit. It was not a good color for her skin. And then her hair, I think, made it worse. Maybe if she had done different hair, the dress wouldn't have looked as
I don't know. Of course, she says, too, that she announced she's going to have an attachment, which is a new way of putting it, to her album that came out last year, The Eternal Sunshine.
Okay.
Attachment. I don't know what that's going to look like, but, I mean, it bombed enough. We're going to add on more.
Maybe she'll be like, this will make it better.
Yeah. Emma Stone lost her hair.
Okay, so apparently she had shaved her head for a role.
Wow, that's commitment.
That is commitment. But then I also started thinking, she pulled the hairstyle off.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but it's Emma Stone.
Right.
But you know what I think is weird is that even with this pixie haircut she's got going on, it's still red, and that's not her natural hair color.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
I didn't like the cut of her dress. It almost had like built-in shelves on the side.
Last year with the ones that were like extended off of them.
Yeah.
Did you see Melissa McCarthy?
With the like jacket thing that was all big and
like
it was a lot.
1,000 layers of things. There was a lot going on there.
You can't sit in that, right? You're going to
no. But again, I was like, what does she put out? Like, I kind of feel like the Golden Globes, and I think I feel this way because Kelly Taylor was there. Like, I feel like it's like the thing to be seen at. Like, you don't have to have really done anything.
Fair. Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess makes me wonder where my invite was.
I know. Listen, we could have found a dress at Dillard's and showed up.
I mean, Chicken Fry was there.
She was there last year too, and I don't know why she was invited last year, but
well, last year's because she was relevant dating Zach Bryan. Now it's just this
yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. But
I didn't see a ton of influencers, a couple, but not a ton. So I appreciated that. Listen,
yeah, same.
They shouldn't be there.
No, except for her. I mean, I didn't really notice. I guess I didn't really notice anyone else. Kylie Jenner was there with Timothée Chalamet, and they were like full of PDA, which is rare for them.
Right. I think they had some PDA at the last award show they went to. I do think it's interesting that she doesn't walk the red carpet with him, but she's inside with him, which makes me think that it's a real relationship because she's not out there trying to get pictures like maybe some in her family would try to do.
Yeah, I think it is real. I just am confused still by it. And I'm also confused how you go from Tyga and Travis Scott to Timothée Chalamet. Like, that has got to be quite the shock to the system.
Yeah. Listen, but maybe that works for her. Maybe that's why she's happy now.
Yeah. I mean, they looked smitten with each other. He looked very Bob Dylan-esque.
Yeah.
I was annoyed with the tie that wasn't really a tie. It was more of like a scarf.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what we were trying to do with that, but it looked weird. Yeah. And then the way he stood on the red carpet to pose for pictures. Like,
he's so awkward.
Right. Kylie can help you with that. She's good at that.
I would think so, but I don't know. I thought it was interesting. She had a real camera with her.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I forgot we even had those anymore.
I know. Does that fit in your little carry-on bag thing?
I don't know. I thought Andrew Garfield looked decent.
Yes, he looked very good. Who was another one? There was a guy, Scott Evans. I don't know who he is. I did not look him up. He looked very nice. He had like a satin suit on. Now, his shirt was unbuttoned a little, but it worked with the outfit. It was different enough, but it still looked very classic.
Okay. Oh, he's apparently a host on Access Hollywood.
Well, there you go. Look at this.
Now,
let's see. Kathy Bates, I sent you that picture. That didn't look great.
No, she had her mama walking shoes on.
Ponytail.
Yeah.
But she had like Skechers tennis shoes on. What are we doing?
I know. She was going to go mall walking later.
Right. At least, like, I can understand a sensible shoe, especially at her age. I get it. You've done your time in heels on a red carpet. Yeah. But, like, maybe do some pretty flats.
Yeah.
Navy with black.
Yeah, that was awful. Did you see Carrie Russell?
I did, and I could not decide if I liked it. I didn't hate it, but I don't think I liked it.
I was like waiting for the reveal. I felt like it was one of those things where she was going to take it off and there was going to be something under it.
Yeah, but I think it was all one piece. I think
it was. I'm just saying I was waiting for something more to happen and it didn't. So yeah, that was but that was the Golden Globes. So now we're spiraling towards the Grammys.
We're getting there.
We'll see.
And that'll have some weird looks for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I had posted this thing in our notes about this new thing that I saw, and I don't really want to go into what I thought I was going to do with this, but I did want to mention this. So the Independents put out a 60 best actors of the 21st century this past week.
Uh-huh.
And I just had a couple of notes for you about this. So the top 10 is started number 1 with Philip Seymour Hoffman. May he rest in peace. Number 2, Emma Stone, Daniel Day-Lewis, Denzel Washington, Nicole Kidman, Daniel, I can't say his name, Song Kang-ho, Kate Blanchett, Colin Farrell, and Florence Pugh. Here's my question. Of all the actors in all the world, those 10 were your top 10?
Again, I think this goes to when the interns just throw darts at a wall.
That's what I've decided. I think pretty much what I have established is you can make a list and a ranking of anything you want and just put it out there.
100%. With
no
transparency, no reason. Yeah.
Is that what's wrong with the world today?
Probably. We should start putting out lists.
I mean, if you go through the full 60, I mean, it is rough.
It's interesting the random names they pull, but
and the fact that you had 60 people and there were so many I didn't know. But I did think it was really funny. At number 60 was Tom Cruise. Now listen, I'm not a Tom Cruise fan at all, but I would think of all the actors in the world, he'd be ranked a little higher than 60.
Yeah, especially with some of those people that have been in one independent.
Well, just his body of work. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you don't have to like him as a person, but he has put out quite the catalog.
Yeah. Speaking of catalogs, we don't really have a lot of Taylor talk this week. She's
and I was thinking, like, if she's been in KC this whole time, if she had been in New York, we'd have gotten some half box. But if she's been in KC, I really like that she gets her privacy there.
Yeah. I know she was for most of the week. I don't know if she's still here. I do know some people that saw them Thursday, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, whenever I told you, I think that they were on social. Which still just makes me laugh because it's like always places I say I want to go eat and then they're inevitably there. But yeah, we don't really have a lot of sightings this week. No real news. There was some weird shenanigans on her website yesterday. But yeah, nothing really to report there. But
I'm sure we'll see her at the playoff games.
It's true. The Chiefs had a game yesterday. I don't know if the Chiefs had a game.
Listen, everybody was like, they got to win the Bengals. First off, it is not their responsibility to get the Bengals into the playoffs, you guys. It's the Bengals' responsibility to get themselves into the playoffs. Yep. Also, if we have learned anything from when the Chiefs have a bye week or when they have a game that's not like a do or die, they're not playing their starters. They're not using their favorite plays and they're not using their best plays. They are literally giving you basic football. They're not trying to injure anybody because they save it, because we've always said they are a different team in the postseason.
Yep.
Every time. But I did think it was interesting that they kept Carson in so long. Because if anything,
Carson Wentz. Yeah, in my head, I was thinking you meant Carson Steele.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, first of all, I think all the people on the Twitter that are all up in arms, I guess even Zach Taylor from the Bengals wants the NFL to investigate this. I think this is all just stupid. Like, you are the team that only won 9 games this season.
Right.
I'm sorry that your first half of your season was so terrible, but that's kind of on you. Like,
and even Joe Burrow came out and said it's our responsibility to
we're not. I just thought that whole narrative was ludicrous. I will say I was a bit shocked. First of all, I thought Bo Nix looked really, really good.
Real good.
And I don't like to say that. But I thought he looked really good. I do think the narrative that they're going to go to Buffalo and shock Buffalo is absurd, though. Good luck with that.
Buffalo's prepared for postseason as well.
Yeah, like, and you're going to Orchard Park? No, it's not going to happen. But I was shocked how poorly the Chiefs showed out. I knew that they were not going to, like you said, with the playbook, I knew it was going to be very vanilla, but
I thought they'd get something.
Well, and here's the thing, like, from a timing perspective, I mean, Carson is working, like, in practices with that string of players every time anyway. So like timing and all that, he should have down with them. And boy, you couldn't tell.
No, it was all off.
I mean, it was really bad. And I mean, even on the defensive side, I mean, I know we weren't running any blitz packages, but we still had some starters from the defense in. Jaden Hicks.
I'm tell you, Bo Nix had all day to make his
Yeah.
plays. They didn't pressure him once.
So I don't know. It was weird, is like what I could say. But I thought Bo Nix looked great. I mean, I think they deserved it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to the Bengals.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I mean, if you want to argue that about resting your starters, I think that's strange because, I mean, the Chargers rested their starters. The Eagles did. You know who did not was the Ravens. And Zay Flowers, the first wide receiver in Ravens history to make the Pro Bowl, jacked his knee up.
Yep.
So that's
this is why Eagles aren't playing Saquon. This is why people pull their start. Like, there's no need for it. Even last night, the Lions had a couple of injuries on their defense.
Which is
I understand you were going for the number 1 seed, but once you started getting up in points, you should have been pulling those players.
I did not understand why they left so many starters in. Yeah. I mean, honestly, though, on defense, they may be down to like nobody to put in.
Right. You've only got someone to pick from.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Ravens hosted the Browns, and that went about as you would imagine. The Browns, I don't even know what they're doing anymore. Like, now it's come out this morning that Deshaun Watson has had a setback with his Achilles injury. I find this super interesting. He's had this setback when I see him traveling all over the world with his girlfriend, yet all these other guys with the same injury are back playing.
Trying to get back within the same football season. And you're out here doing TikTok dances on the side of a highway.
Yeah. In the middle of your game. That's what I don't get either. Yeah.
Why? You're still a leader on the team. Why are you not on the bench, on the sidelines in a suite? I don't like Dak Prescott, but he's still in the suite. He's still got a headset. He's still in the locker room with those guys. JJ McCarthy was still on the sidelines.
Did you notice his hair?
Yeah, it's a little long.
Little
long. I guess.
I was like, what is happening? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Browns. They've got the number 2 pick now. Be interesting to see what happens with the draft now. Now the Titans own the first pick. Changed hands a couple of times last week between the Giants, the Patriots.
Yep.
So now it's with the Titans. I honestly think they'll go for Shador.
I mean, we know they have to pick a quarterback.
Yeah. So that would mean, does that mean then that the Browns are going to get Travis Hunter?
Oh, poor Travis.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. But Lamar Jackson had a great game. He got me a lot of points in fantasy football. So I did appreciate that. Now, of course, the big debate is still, does he deserve the MVP or does Josh Allen?
Listen, you had a great game against the Browns. You've had great games before, but when you get to the postseason, you completely fall apart. So MVP talk needs to be done with for him.
I got to pull up my playoff picture so I remember how this is all going to go down. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I think it's just because I'm maybe not a Lamar fan. I don't know, but I just don't see it. And I get that his stats are better this season than they were last season when he won it. But that's to argue that he deserved it last season too.
I didn't think he deserved it last year. We were all shocked by it.
So, yeah, the Ravens are going to host the Steelers. You just never know. You never know who's going to show up with the Steelers. Like Russell Wilson, I don't know. Are you washed?
He has some good games, and then he has games where I'm like, what just happened here?
Yeah.
I do think that they're going to, obviously, they're bringing their best. You're in the playoffs, and you want to keep progressing in it. But Derrick Henry and Lamar, there's a different dynamic than what they had last year as well. Yeah. So last year, Lamar tried to throw everything or run it himself. That wasn't smart. but you have Derrick Henry who can make some plays. So potentially this year, maybe they'll do a little bit better. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The Bengals played the Steelers this week. And honestly, even in that game, the Bengals didn't look like a playoff team. I mean, on offense, sure, Joe and Jamar have a connection, but on defense, they had nobody but Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, their defense has been one of their biggest problems all year.
Which they did fire their defensive coordinator today.
Yep. So you definitely needed that change in there, but I think you're going to have to do some more changes on defense because Jamar, T. Higgins, if you bring him back, Burrow, they can't do everything.
Yeah.
They have a strong team, so it'll be interesting to see what they do.
And then last night's primetime game was the Vikings at the Lions, and I was super excited about this game.
Same.
And I was super disappointed.
Yeah.
I thought the Vikings, Sam Darnold
was off.
He was back to being like Carolina Panthers Sam Darnold.
I don't know if he got in his head too much. And listen, he's had a great season. I'm not counting them completely out yet. I just think they had a bad game.
Yeah.
I think Detroit had prepped better. They had Justin Jefferson's name and they had Sam Darnold. They knew that Sam can't get that ball out fast and pressure gets to him. Because even when he had plays to make and Justin was completely open, he was throwing so far over their heads that it was like he could not settle himself down. So
I wondered if he forgot his contacts.
Maybe. Listen, I think Kevin O'Connell is good to get them settled back in. And okay, let's get to the next one. Let's see the errors that we made in this big game when it mattered because they were going for the number 1 seed. And let's not have that repeat itself in the playoffs.
Yeah, so now the Vikings go to LA and play the Chargers, which
I think that could be a toss-up for who wins.
Again, because of location, I do too. And Matt Stafford, I mean, he's good. I mean, he's old, but he knows what to do. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's an interesting matchup. I thought that was just a weird deal. You're playing for number 1 and you fall all the way to 5. The Lions looked good. I mean, Jamar Gibbs. We're going to talk about fantasy football here in a second, but that dude, holy moly, he played lights out. But Jared Goff was not perfect. He, had a lot of mistakes that seemed very amateur of him. And that to me, I was like, that's concerning. But yeah, they found a way to win. I just love Dan Campbell.
Me too.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He's a fun coach.
Yeah, I would love.
And this guy clearly loved playing for him.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in his team meetings. I think it'd be awesome. But yeah, so the Lions got the number 1 seed, so they get the bye week like the Chiefs, and so they will wait on their opponent. I don't know. I mean, it's trajecting sort of the way we kind of thought it would. I think the only really surprise for me in the playoffs right now is, the Commanders. We didn't know what Jaden Daniels was going to look like.
Yeah.
So that's a surprise to me. I think the Broncos, of course, I assumed Bo Nix was going to be terrible like he always is, and apparently that didn't happen.
They've surprised me this year for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. So for the playoffs, we have in the NFC, we've got the Packers are going to the Eagles.
Which could be interesting because it'll be Jalen's first game back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Jordan Love hit his funny bone. So that's what they're saying it is. He definitely injured his right elbow in the game. He had to come out. Malik Willis went in. And he never came back in. They said it basically went numb and was tingling, which I mean, if I hit my funny bone right now, that's going to happen. But I mean, it's back in 5 minutes.
Right. Then we're good.
So I don't know. I was very curious as to what that really was.
Do you think they do that as a strategy to make the next team they're going to compete against be like, maybe not prepare for Jaden and start preparing for somebody else?
I don't know. I just thought it was a very weird storyline. They also lost Christian Watson. Is that his last name?
I think so.
I don't know why that feels wrong. He tore up his knee again. When you don't rest your starters, this is what happens. But also, I mean, they're going to Philadelphia. To me, this is a 2 seed versus a 7 seed. This is an easy Eagles pick to me.
Yep, I'm
And
going.
if they lose, Nick Sirianni is going to be in the unemployment line.
They don't have an excuse to lose this one. You should have all of your key players back because a lot of them were out last week, nursing injuries. So
yeah, then we've got also in the NFC, we've got obviously the Vikings are going to the Rams. So this is a 4 versus a 5 seed, but I don't think that's an accurate depiction because again, I think it's super weird. You were playing for the 1, you drop all the way to a 5. In my head, you're a 2 then.
I think if Sam can settle down, Vikings will take this one.
Yeah. It's just going to see how he bounces. It's going to be tough to see how he bounces back from that.
But again, I think Kevin O'Connell is such a good coach to get in there and give him his confidence back.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have Justin Jefferson. So I'm like, come on. I'm going to go Rams just because you went Vikings, though.
Okay.
And then the one I'm actually the most excited to watch is the Commanders versus Tampa Bay. So it's in Tampa. So it's a 3 versus a 6.
Yep.
What are you thinking?
I'm going to go Tampa Bay only because I think you've got a little bit more veteran play with the quarterback in these big games. I think that Baker really wants this one a little bit more. But I'll be interested to see because there have been some games where you thought Baker would have showed up and then he has surprised us and they've not done well. So I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
Well, it's at Tampa, so I always have my home field theory. I think I'm going to go Tampa too, though, just based on experience.
Yeah,
I think like when you've got Mike Evans coming off his 11th 1,000-yard season, tying Jerry Rice.
Yeah, once you get to playoffs, I really do think experience matters. Not always; it's not always the answer, but I really think that plays a huge part into it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to go Tampa. On the AFC side, we've got Denver is going as the 7 seed to Buffalo, the number 2 seed.
Which is going to be a good game.
I think it's going to be good, but I mean, I'm
still going Bills. Yeah.
Okay.
I do think that Broncos are going to show up and they're going to try their best. But I also think like the Chiefs, the Bills have held back on a lot of their stuff as well. They don't show their hand during the season.
Yeah. Now I would much rather face the Broncos eventually than the Bills, but so number 5 Chargers are playing at Houston. Number 4, the winner of that game is who the Chiefs will host. I'm going Chargers.
Okay, same.
I
was shocked that the Texans are even the 4th seed.
It's because that AFC South is so lackluster.
Struggled. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And remember at the beginning of the season, I was all about Houston, but
because they had such a great season last year. And I thought, okay, they're keeping a lot of their players. You're going to build on that. And then this year struggled, which again, I am always going to equate that to the Diggs effect.
Yeah. Even injured, he's still haunting them.
Right. Still a problem.
Then the Steelers, the 6 seed, coming to Baltimore, the 3 seed. I'm going Baltimore.
I'm going Steelers.
I like it.
I'm banking on the fact that Lamar is going to be Lamar in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think Derrick Henry will help the situation, but if Lamar panics and doesn't hand off the ball, like you're still a problem.
The first time that Derrick Henry's ever been to the playoffs?
I think so, because I don't know that the Titans ever made it to the playoffs while he was there.
He may not. Well, he is from Alabama. I guess he'll know what to do.
Right. He's been there before.
Blessed. So let's talk briefly about fantasy football.
I really want to.
So what happened was I was in the championship. Coming into week 2 of the championship, I needed some points, but I got them. Okay. And so until the 3rd quarter of the game last night, I was winning. Now, It was a narrow margin. I was only up like a couple points. I ended up losing by like 17 points. Because in the final game, I had Sam Laporta, and I went against my best friend Megan, who had Jamar Gibbs.
Oh.
And as we all know, Jamar Gibbs got 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Got a heck of a game.
That's what cost me the season. Left me in second place again. But you know, I got my
That's better than
64
my picture of a trophy that just says you tried.
Does it really? I didn't even log in yet today. I'm afraid that because it does keep record of like how you did in previous seasons, it's going to be like happened again.
My team completely crapped out yesterday. So
did you end up winning or no?
No, I lost by a lot.
Oh.
Harrison Butker got me negative points. Miami Dolphins defense got me points. Some of my running backs and tight ends that normally get me a lot of points didn't get me anything. So it just wasn't great. Baker Mayfield's what got me my most points, and that was only 21. So,
you know, you brought up an interesting thing that we did not talk about with the Chiefs game. Harrison Butker missed another field goal.
He did, which isn't great.
It's not been the same since his injury and surgery.
No, the one that he missed, was it farther back? I was flipping between that game and Miami, so I didn't catch it.
It was like, I want to say it was like a 51-yarder, which I know for a lot of kickers is a lot, but it's really not for him.
Not for him.
Typically. That made me real nervous, though.
Yeah. Hopefully we get that together, too, because we don't try and hide our kicker during.
No, I mean, we just, yeah. That's like,
we let you do your thing.
Yeah, you can have whatever you want on that plan. I don't know. That's not a great look. But you want to talk about some college football?
Sure.
So Texas beat Arizona State in 2 overtimes.
Which, who could have seen that coming with needing the overtimes?
No, I mean, I don't think it's a good sign, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah. I think Texas came out real strong in the beginning, and I think that knocked some of Arizona's confidence. But Arizona was doing a lot of smack talk before the game in the media, and I think that got the Texans charged. Once Arizona settled back down and played the game like they normally play, then it started to give Texas a run for their money. So I agree. It's not a great look because that should have been an easy, quick win for them. Yeah, so interesting.
Well, and Ohio State put the smack on Oregon at 41-21, which I was shocked by.
Shocked.
And I think that's a really bad sign for Texas.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like Ohio's really playing with a chip on their shoulder because they know we literally all hate them.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we don't like Texas and all of the world because the Ohio State. Yeah.
Listen, I think that Quinn is trying to prove how good he is, but Ohio State is not to be messed with this year, and I don't like saying that.
I don't either. Notre Dame killed Georgia 23-10.
Killed.
And honestly, that score looks a lot closer than it felt.
Yeah. Well, because Georgia started to make some points towards the end, but man, they really fall apart during big games when you think they're going to show up.
Yeah, that was really surprising to me because, again, my theory that Notre Dame doesn't play anybody. So,
yeah.
And
I don't know. So Kirby Smart's dad,
I know,
had to have surgery while they were in New Orleans, ended up passing away from it. I don't know if that happened before or after the game. So I don't know if that was playing on him mentally.
Yeah, I don't know the timing either.
Yeah, so I don't know, but that had to have been in the back of his mind at least. But shocking that they struggled so much. I'm going to tell you, I'm a real big fan of Riley Leonard for Are you frozen? Am I frozen?
There you go. You're a big fan of who?
Oh, there we are. Riley Leonard, the quarterback for Notre Dame. I really like him.
Yeah.
And he seems to have a real good leadership over that entire team, not just the offense.
I agree, but I do not think his skill set is going to transfer to the NFL.
No, I don't either.
But I do like him.
A practice squad.
Yeah. He reminds me kind of Chase Daniels.
Yeah.
Kind of that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Penn State beat Boise State 31-14, which is just as we imagined. So that'll be an interesting game, Penn State versus Notre Dame. Again, I wouldn't have thought that would be interesting, but if we end up with a Penn State, Ohio State championship game, I'm out.
Yeah.
I won't have anyone to cheer for. The refs? I mean,
I know.
That's all I got.
Something exciting happens.
Yeah.
A streaker, something.
Yeah. Duck waddling across the field, anything. So I don't know. It's interesting. There's only one SEC team in the Final Four, and it's a new SEC team. I don't even know that. Like, I don't even feel right calling them that.
I know.
So there's a lot of talk. Do we think this is the end of the SEC dominance?
I think it is for a few years. Okay. Because I think what happened is the SEC has always been dominant because they have always had the resources, the bigger name, the bigger ways to get players to come play for them, whether under the table or not. I don't know what they were doing. But they had people giving them money to have resources, even if it's just nicer facilities. Yeah. However, with NIL and with everything else coming into play, you had all of these schools that had been prepping for the things that they wanted to do once they had the financial backing for it. And so as soon as they could come in, they came in hard and they came in up above par. And you have these SEC teams that I think that were just playing it the way that they've always played it and didn't continue to progress with the times. So I think now we're seeing that struggle where we've got all these teams that are pulling in some of these really great players because they get play time. They don't have to go to an SEC team and sit the bench for a couple of years. They get right on the field and they get that play time. And so they're going to those schools. So I do think we're going to see the SEC struggle for a while. I do think that they'll come back as a dominant conference, but it's going to take a minute.
Yeah, I think, I think Georgia and Alabama, I think Georgia's going to stay at the top of the conversation for a while just based on recruiting. I saw they landed the two brothers from USC. Yeah. I mean, just based on recruiting alone, they should stay at the top. And Alabama being Alabama, I feel like they'll be in the mix.
They're not going to be dominant for a while.
Yeah, but outside of that, I know you guys are really relying on Arkansas to pull through, but probably not going to
say somebody.
Probably not going to happen. Again, I forget Texas is in the SEC now. I think they'll stay up there based on money. Yeah, Arch Manning being their future.
Yes.
So yeah, but I do think like the days of SEC being like 2 or 3 of the final teams is probably going to pause for a bit. We'll see though. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling.
It's odd. It's odd for sure, but. There's going to be years.
Yep. Any other football?
Well, Jalen Milroe has officially declared for the draft, so he'll be in that. Honestly, this feels like one of the, I don't want to say weaker, but I'm going to, one of the weaker quarterback classes. Because even with Shedeur, like they're projecting him to go number 1. It's not like I'm like, yeah, he's dominant and he'll do great wherever. Whereas some years I feel like you do have some quarterbacks where like, he's going to do really well. Now they might not, but at least they looked real strong. But this year I just don't feel like any quarterback, you're like, yeah, you could go into the NFL and be a starter.
Well, and I think, again, if Shedeur's last name was anything other than Sanders, I don't think he's in the conversation. Agreed. And I think there's a lot of scouts that are saying that he's not a first-round pick. Let alone the first pick. I think it's there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks right now in the NFL, even if it is just like filling in their pipeline of backups.
Yeah. Would you be surprised if the Titans go for Cam Ward over Shedeur? I guess maybe it'll depend on what they do at the combine and how their interviews go.
Would I be surprised? Yeah, probably. Though I don't think it would be a bad decision, but also like I don't really know what they're doing in Nashville because like they went all in on Will Levis and like
That was embarrassing.
what are we doing there? And
I
so
mean, his commercials aren't even good. He can't even act right.
so that's where I'm like, I don't even know that they would know what to do if they got a good quarterback.
I think that's true.
So no, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised though, because I think there's going to be this stigma that follows Shador that he is Deion's son. And I think that there are a lot of scouts that are saying he's not a first round pick. And so I think Cam Ward, like just X's and O's is probably a stronger option, but name recognition and all that. But again, you can't argue strength of schedule between these two because who's Colorado playing? Who's Jackson State playing? Like who has Shador really faced? And anytime he has, he's lost.
Right.
So I do think it helps people like Jalen Milroe, though, that it is a weaker class.
Yep.
Because as an Alabama quarterback, he's one of the weaker ones.
Yes. Yep. So. I think he's probably pretty good with the leadership, but I think he's going to need to go to a team that doesn't need a starter so that they can have some time to develop him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think I know any of the other names of quarterbacks that are coming in.
Cam Ward, Jalen. Dylan. Carson Beck. I think he declared.
Oh, yeah. I'm out on that. What about Dylan Gabriel?
I don't think he's going to do much either.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're right from the standpoint of which I had seen where people were saying that, when the whole conversation came up about Quinn Ewers, is he going to transfer? Is he going to declare, which he has not done either?
Right.
Which I don't think he will until Texas is done.
Yeah. Which I respect that so much when players wait until their last game, like focus on what's at hand and then do that. I like that.
Well, and honestly, for Quinn, he's probably waiting to see how he plays.
True.
And what kind of statement he can make. Now, if
you don't play well and somebody's offered you $6 million to stay in school for one more year.
Yeah.
My man, enjoy.
Shoot, I wouldn't be hesitant to take him over Shador.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Nashville or the Titans, like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Any other football tidbits?
I don't think so. I think we're going to see some more coach hirings in college, but NFL will be a bigger deal when we see that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I do think I think the Vrabel thing was I think they fired Jared Mayo the second they heard he was interviewing with the Jets.
Agreed.
That Mike Vrabel was. And so I think that was probably a ploy on Mike Vrabel's part because he wants the New England job. Yeah. But I feel real bad for Jared Mayo. I feel like he was really hung out to dry. What are you going to do in one season in a rebuild?
Right. And with a roster that just didn't have the best talent on it. You had to give the man some time.
Thought that was a real shady move, but seems fitting for them.
I think the shocker was that the Giants came out and said they're going to keep their general manager and Daboll.
Head coach. Yeah,
Miami came out and said the same, but I wasn't surprised by that.
They didn't even cross my mind. Now, I will say, I think if Mike McDaniels gets to the end of next season in the same boat he's in this season,
then
probably
possibly
some issues. Did you see where Mara, though, from the Giants said basically like time is up? They like the turnaround, the rebuild has to happen now, that he's run out of patience.
Yep.
That's kind of a job like, thanks for telling me my job is safe. I don't want it now. Thank you.
Right. I know I've got 1 year to make a drastic difference.
Yeah. With also a shoddy roster. So
it'll be interesting to see what they do with the draft and with trades. It's going to be real interesting to see what the Jets do. We know they're going to get a new head coach, GM. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be making a decision this week. He
sounds like today.
He said he was going to be meeting with leadership. I don't know that the market needs him right now. I don't know how much more he can offer, because we saw with the Jets, they got rid of the coach that you probably said you wanted to get rid of. They brought in your best friend to see if that would help. I was glad for the rest of the team that the Jets went out how Rodgers did. But it was good for the team to kind of get that win. But I'm also glad that Aaron said he's not going to drag it out. He's not going to go to some dark retreat and make everybody wait. Because I think that that's doing a disservice to your whole team when they have decisions for themselves they have to make.
Well, they've got decisions. The draft is coming. How they're approaching the draft. I think all those things. I think he's done. I think he's going to retire. You were just straight going. Well, that was a quick intermission there. Yeah. No, I think Aaron's going to retire, and I think it's time. Yeah, I think the whole thing has just been a wash in New York, even though he said it's the best 2 years of his life.
Uh-huh. Now, I do, because at first I was like, oh, he's for sure going to retire. But then I thought, with his personality, do you think he'll go out on the bad season that he had? Or do you think he's going to try and go play for a team and go out on a better note?
Well, I think the only thing he would consider probably is a team that's a contender, and I don't think any of the contenders are shopping right now.
True.
I mean, he could probably go to Cleveland. But what's that going to do?
Does Cleveland even have any money? They're paying so much to Deshaun for
I don't even know.
What, 2 snaps in 7 years? I don't know how long he's been there.
I don't know, but something is definitely in the works there, because even Myles Garrett said in their press conference, he was like, oh, something's coming. And I was like, oh, that's ominous.
I mean, I don't know how the NFL works and how the contracts work, but could you just have a private citizen pay the rest of Deshaun and be like, we're done with you now, and now it doesn't affect our cap or any of that stuff?
Pretty sure there's a lot of Cleveland fans that would be down to pay that bill.
Right? Start a GoFundMe just to be done.
Yeah. Just to be done. Be rid of him.
Yeah. So, but it'll be interesting. Lots of things coming up in college and NFL in the next week. So now that we are officially postseason, which is crazy.
I know. Are you ready to answer some questions?
I would love to answer some questions, especially this first one. I cannot wait to hear how you answer it.
Okay. All right. So this is from Lisa, and we had many a questions similar to this. I thought this summed it up, though. Lisa said, what would it take to flip you guys to hashtag Team Justin in the It Ends With Us drama from hashtag Team Blake? I'll let you go ahead and begin, Beth.
Okay. Well, my first line was a literal physical manifestation of Jesus coming down and telling me.
It would have to be supernatural.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Neither one of them look good in this lawsuit.
No.
This lawsuit or the ones he's brought. Okay. It's just, Blake is not, I don't know that she's known as being somebody you don't want to work with, or somebody that everybody tries to avoid. I don't think that that's the characteristics that she has. Now, does she come across rude in some of her interviews? Is she probably rude and stuck up towards people in the film industry? I'm sure she is. That has all come to light. I just think that what Justin has done, even if only half of the allegations that are made in the lawsuit are true, that is enough to me to be absolutely not. That's not tolerated at all.
Yeah.
I don't care whatever your reasonings are, and I think that's not tolerated. So but I was always creeped out by him before this came out. As soon as the media started, something was off with him. And I've just never watched anything he's ever been on. So it's not I
didn't know. I guess I didn't watch that. What was he on? What is that show called with Jane the Virgin or whatever?
Oh, yeah. I never watched that.
I didn't watch that either. Which isn't that with America Ferrera?
Yes. Which she has come out and supported him, I believe.
Well, I don't know. She's come out and supported Blake because she's part of Sister to the Traveling Pants.
Was it Blake? I knew she came out and
Yeah.
made a statement.
She's
Okay.
really big behind Blake. Which
Well, then that's
I just now thought of that too. That is interesting too. Yeah, so Lisa, to answer your question, there's really probably not anything that would ever flip me to Team Justin. More so, there's really not anything that would flip me from Team Blake.
Now, I do wish that she and Ryan had showed up to the Golden Globes. On a personal level, I completely understand that you're trying to avoid awkward situations and questions that might be asked of you. I think you could have skipped the red carpet and still been there. Yeah. But if everything I'm alleging in a lawsuit is true and I've done nothing wrong, my happy butt would have been front and center with the best gown on and a spotlight on me.
Yeah. Now, of course, hearsay. I saw something on the internet saying that they had asked her team had asked to present an award. And we're told no. I don't know if that's true. The thing is, as we all know, I'm a Blake stan, but everything Becca said is true. I mean, we know from the Gossip Girls days with Leighton Meester, she's not, at least on set, she is not a girl's girl on set.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like. Now, I will say in her personal life, there's an interesting vibe too, because yes, she's incredibly close to Taylor, but I would also say, who outside of Taylor, female friend wise, do you see Blake with?
Yeah.
Now, yes, like the girls from Sister to the Traveling Pants, they all have this friendship, but even inside of that friendship, the girl that played Rory from Gilmore Girls.
Oh yeah, I can't think of her name right now.
I think of her real name. She and Blake had beef during that filming. So she's not a girl's girl, is what I think we can all establish, even in her personal life.
Right.
Because also it's been long reported that, and you'll notice this when you see Taylor and her friends out, if Selena is there, Blake will not be there. If Blake is there, Selena will not be there. So again, it's just more of that. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know what she's like in real life. It doesn't change how I feel about her because I don't think of her as like somebody I want to be friends with. I mean, yeah, I would love to be friends with her, but that's not my draw to Blake.
Yeah.
Also, I think it goes back to the whole thing again, even if a tenth of what she said in her complaint is true, he's out of line.
Right. Well, I also think the people coming out saying that Ryan shouldn't have stuck his nose in there and Ryan listen. If any of that stuff is happening to me, you had better believe that Doug Baker is going to be on set and in the middle of everybody's business.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that I think the people coming for Ryan is the weird part.
Yeah.
Because, what husband wouldn't be there? And all the allegations that she had developed feelings for Justin Baldoni, y'all.
To me, as soon as I saw that, I was like, is his PR team trying to get this out there? And then
I know. I was like,
surely not. Surely not.
I thought, wow, that is, now y'all are really reaching. Yeah, so I don't think I would ever be Team Justin, even if a lot of what he's alleging about her is true. None of that is surprising to me. You've not followed her career if it is surprising to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but no, Team Blake forever. Sorry.
Yep.
Next up, we've got from Brenda. Why? This is something we've been asking too. Why is Beyonce about to tour again so soon? Make it make sense.
A fair question.
I don't know that we can make this make sense, Brenda, other than she put out a new album, and that's typically what you do. You put an album out and you tour.
Yeah. I also think that, here's the thing, they strike when their name's out there, and they strike when they're trying to switch the narrative to something else. Right now, her husband's not got a great narrative around him.
Yeah.
So we need to get the spotlight off of him, which they did with Blue Ivy being in Mufasa. Now with her going out on tour, she did a couple halftime show at one of the football games. So I think they paused. I think that they were wanting to roll right into it with her country album, and that got some pushback, and then Jay-Z got some lawsuits. So I think they maybe had to pause and re-strategize real quick, but it does not shock me that she's coming out and doing another tour. She's got to make money.
No, it doesn't shock me either. I do think that there may be some Taylor effect in this. I think Beyonce might be trying to reclaim some of the landscape.
Yep.
And she knows
all artists should be out touring right now while Taylor's taking a
That's what I'm
hiatus.
saying. Like, you folks need to get on the road immediately
That's
because
right.
I'm pretty sure towards the end of 2026 she'll be on tour again, and they don't
Yep.
want to compete. And
No.
so, from that perspective, maybe it makes sense. Again, Beyonce's going to sell out a tour anyway.
Yes.
I don't care if she toured yesterday.
Yep.
She's going to sell. It's the same with Taylor. Taylor could announce tomorrow she's going on tour, and I'd be selling my kidneys. I mean, it's just who they are.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if it's an all-country tour.
Yeah.
Because that album has not been well received.
No.
And it's not her vibe. So that would be real interesting. So I don't know. We'll have to see what comes. All right, from Dave. Let's pretend you are in charge of college football. I appreciate pretending this.
I like that.
What changes would you make and why?
Which, good question, because a lot of things have come out of college football this year where we're like, we gotta wrap this up. I would definitely put some restrictions around NIL. Something has to, you can't just keep getting all this money or giving all this money. I think we have to have limitations there. I also would put some major restrictions on the transfer portal, when you can enter it, how many times you can enter it, what happens if you enter it. Like, we can't just keep jumping in and out and going to any school that we want. Like, at some point you have to realize, like, you're still a kid, you're still in college. It's like free agency constantly. No team can ever be good if they never know who they're coaching for week to week.
Well,
I think that you have to do that. I think that the playoff.
Did you see the Boise State coach saying that 13 of his players had been tampered with?
Yes. What are we doing?
And who's going to recruit Boise State players?
Right? But also the NCAA does eventually, now it's years down the line, but they do come out and there's a hefty fine and usually some kind of like something happens to the school. But I wonder if coaches just don't care because it's not going to affect them at the time.
Yeah, valid.
I don't know. But I also think playoff selection, that process needs to be 100% transparent.
Yeah.
Because how they're picking right now is not it.
Yeah. Well, we know that I love the NIL and the transfer portal.
What's your favorite?
I struggle to not say that I would just do away with both. It goes back to the premise behind the NIL, name, image, and likeness. I agreed with, but then it became what it is today, and I don't agree with this. I do agree that these schools are making money off the athletes, and they deserve to be compensated, and they don't deserve to be entertaining us and living in poverty. Now, ain't none of these kids living in poverty.
Right.
Those days are long gone. They're living better than most of the country now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I wouldn't do away with NIL, but it would have to be majorly changed. I think that I would actually do away with the transfer portal, or I would create a stipulation that you can transfer, but you have to sit out a season. I mean, it's that way in high school. If you're going to transfer within your conference, you have to sit out a season.
I think you can also transfer only once in your college career.
Yeah, these guys that are on like 7 and 8 teams, like
we also got to limit how many years we're playing in college. This is getting out of hand.
Did you see the guy? I feel like he's a quarterback that has like announced, signed, transferred, all this stuff like multiple times, and he hasn't even started school yet.
No.
Yeah. I forget where I think he's like from Hawaii or something.
I did appreciate Lane Kiffin after the Ole Miss game when they were talking to the quarterback, and he was like, who knows, maybe he could get a waiver and stay here a few more years.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Jackson Dart would totally do that too, by the way.
100%.
Yeah, so I would definitely change that. And yeah, the college football thing, we've talked about it before. I think there's an algorithm you could create that mathematically assigns wwho makes the playoffs, and it's the only way you could do it that's not biased the way it is now. I also still think 12 teams is too many.
100%.
Just way too many. Yeah, so those are a few of the changes. Okay, from John. Would love your thoughts on a few people, Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber. I at first thought you were implying like as a couple. And I was like, well, that would be a terrible couple. But I think you're just asking our opinions on Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Which those are two very interesting people to select, John. But okay.
Listen, Ariana Grande, I've never really followed her musical career or really even her acting career. She's somebody that you know of because she was on The Voice and she does all these other TV things that she's very good at marketing herself. Her looks in general scares me just a little bit, just because I feel like listen, it's not healthy in any regard. But her hair has always been problematic to me from the jump. Even when she used to just do the slick back ponytail, I don't like that either. Yeah. In her personal life, she seems a little problematic. So
a lot problematic.
Yeah, not a fan. Probably never will.
No, I am not an Ariana Grande fan. I think there's a chance we may be too old.
I think so. That plays into it as well.
I think we aged out of the Ariana Grande, but also that makes me scared for our future because y'all apparently don't have a lot of taste.
But also interviews, she's very into her things and like, oh my gosh, and how are you? And I can't.
It's all so fake.
Those people.
No, it is so fake.
Sit down. Do not BS me. Straight shooter. Don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not a fan on any level. Looks, talent, personal, nothing. Not a fan. I have not seen Wicked yet. I need to stream it. I kind of don't want to with her in it because I feel like it's going to kind of ruin it for me, but I guess this is what we do. We have to see things. So yeah, not a fan at all. And then
Justin Bieber, that's a jump. I have always had very confusing feelings about him because I do actually enjoy some of his music. Not all of it. There is some that's a little bit too teeny bopper for me. Yeah. I have enjoyed it. Obviously, I know that there is some personal stuff with he and Selena and then his wife Haley coming into play. Haley is a little bit of a mean girl there too. However, if I'm just taking him personally, I think that the reason I'm so confused on how I feel about him is because I feel bad for him. I feel like he came into the music industry and was put into situations that were not appropriate for children. And the people that were in charge of him did not have his best interest at heart. I think that has probably caused him a lot of some mental health issues. And I don't think that he surrounds himself enough with matured people in the industry that can speak some hard truths into him and be somebody that he can confide in. And so I always wonder if he didn't have that, how much better would he have done for himself? Because I do think that he still has a career if he wants to come back to singing. But he's got to have a whole different team around him. And listen, it doesn't seem like he's friends with Scooter Braun anymore. So maybe he's on the up and up now.
I was going to say, it did appear this weekend that he and Haley both unfriended Scooter finally. So making steps in the right direction, Justin. Good call.
Yes.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way about the Biebs. I feel bad for him. It's obvious that he's like searching. I think that's why he goes through these phases where he's like uber religious too.
Right.
He kind of just goes through those cycles. He's got some songs that I like, some that get stuck in my head, like the Ghost of Me song. God, then I can't get it out.
Yeah.
I do need him to get a new stylist.
God, or a stylist.
Yeah, it is a train wreck, whatever he's got going on. I don't know. It'll just be interesting to see what happens with Justin. I really wish him the best because he's always one of those ones that I'm not going to be shocked if we get really tragic news about,
Yeah, I am thankful we haven't gotten to the Britney Spears effect yet with him. I
think we've been close.
We've been close. So I just hope he can get a good circle around him, which I think where they live, that's probably very difficult to do.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it's who he is and all of that. People try to take advantage of that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think he could be great. It just needs a little tinkering.
Right.
Tinkering. But yeah, good question. Okay, you ready for some Y Factor?
I'd love to do some Y Factor.
All right. What are you not liking this week?
So what I'm not liking this week is that Netflix and Meghan Markle seem to have a relationship that they just can't quit.
That's
What
a good
are we
one.
doing? So it was announced this week that she has a new show coming on Netflix called With Love Megan or Love Megan, something along those lines.
Right.
We've seen before that she has a relationship with them, but she also has a lot of projects that just don't come to fruition, or she starts it and doesn't finish it. I know a lot of people were coming out and saying they weren't going to watch because like she's not reading the room, you know, with our political landscape right now and with people struggling. That's not the vibe. Here's my thing. I don't have a problem with that because if the world is burning, I do want an escape to watch something that gets my mind off of it. So I can't falter in that area. What I have an issue with is you're trying to come off as this very authentic, this is me. Mm-hmm. Man, you're not even recording in your own house. And the thing you keep referring to as my garden that I'm getting ingredients from to cook with, you've rented all of that. That's not yours. Yeah. Those friends that are coming on that show are contracted. You're paying them to come on the show.
Yeah.
Like it's not authentic. I don't love it. And I think that we shouldn't watch it because we should respect what she has always said, that they want privacy. So please don't put this into your life.
It's a good one. I am not shocked that is yours. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, mine is this line of merchandise that exists today where it's like you got your team name on the hat, but it's upside down.
Yes. Baker had that hat on, and I was like, what are we doing?
What? It is so, and I just, listen, I can't do it.
Was there something to it, and we just missed what the origin was? And that's why
we're too old for this too? I don't know. It reminds me of when you used to go on a youth ski trip with the church. And you would see those Jeeps up in Colorado around Breckenridge that would have the bumper sticker that said, and they would be upside down, and it would say, if you can read this, call for help. It's what it makes me think of every time, and I just don't like it.
Fair. That's fair. At first, I thought it was just a Texas thing because I always saw, like, Dak always had those on. It was always Cowboys players that had them. But then I've seen across the NFL, and I'm like, okay, well, I missed something.
They're very popular here in Kansas City, and I am not a fan. I will not purchase them.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you liking this week?
So what I'm liking this week is I sat down and binge watched all of the available Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity with Travis Kelce.
Oh, okay.
I think there's 20 episodes total that will be coming out. I think only 12 are out so far. It goes through February, which I did not realize
that it was like on.
And so far, it looks like everything has been taped within 2 days because there's only 2 different suits that he has worn. But it is so good. I watched Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader when it originally came out with Jeff Foxworthy, and that was a pretty good show. The questions were really hard when it was that show. I didn't know how he would do. And also, I think those shows hinge on who your celebrities are and their own banter back and forth. I thought that they did a fantastic job of the celebrities that they've got, and they got kind of 2 different sets that they'll switch them out completely or they'll mix them together on the episodes. Their banter back and forth is so good. Their banter with Travis is good. The banter with the contestants is really good. It was so funny. And the questions are much easier. Maybe it's because we're smarter now.
I was going to say,
but it's just, it's fun to watch them. And it's fun when celebrities get some of those questions wrong, like a first grade math question. Yeah. But then to see them like be able to joke about themselves, because some people could get in there and be real uptight and in their feelings about how that looks when it's, aired. Yeah. It's really funny. It's so good. Travis does a great job on it, especially for it being his first time hosting something like that by himself. He doesn't really have anybody to play off of. Like he has to lead that whole thing. I thought it was really good. So worth the watch.
Did you see any or watch any of Jason's new show?
I've seen very few clips, but I did not stay up late enough to watch it. Did you watch any of it?
I've only seen clips too. It did not get good reviews.
Yeah. I think with him, his banter back and forth with Travis on their podcast is really good. I have not thoroughly enjoyed him on Monday Night Football. I think he does well maybe in special segments and things like that. So I'm not surprised if he's not getting the best reviews. But I think it's really, listen, sign that contract, get that money. I think it's good that it's just during the playoffs. It's not going to be like a forever thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have trouble coming up with content, I think, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So what I'm liking, I have fallen in love with a new show. Via TikTok, of course.
Okay. Is this the clip you sent me?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have TikTok binged Landman, which is the new Taylor Sheridan show. It stars Billy Bob Thornton, and he's kind of the main character, but it's got a lot of other people in it. John Hamm is in it. Demi Moore's in it. Allie Larder. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else big name. Sorry, the dog is startled by the snow. I don't think there's any other big names. It's really, really good. Really good. It's definitely got a Yellowstone feel to it, which so I love. But it also has almost like a little Friday Night Lights because it's in Texas, I think, is maybe what feels that way. I'm typically not a Billy Bob Thornton fan. I mean, Arkansas brother, happy for you, but I just typically don't enjoy him. He is so good in this show. So good. The storylines are really, really good so far. It's just your typical Taylor Sheridan show. I mean, they're just really good. So I guess this is like, inside the Taylor Sheridan network, all the shows are intertwined. This is connected to the show Boomtown that he had. So it's about the oil and gas industry in West Texas. And the landman is typically like the person that works kind of like the go-between between the oil and gas companies and then like the landowners. So they kind of do like the exploration and strike up these deals. And as you can imagine, there's drama with that. Yeah, it's really good though. I love it.
Well, the clip you had sent me, it seemed really good. And then Jerry Jones was in it. And so then I was like thoroughly confused as to what I was watching.
Yeah. Randomly in this week's episode, Jerry Jones makes an appearance.
I'm going to tell you, he didn't look like he was acting. He looked like he was just being Jerry Jones.
I mean, it was like it was really good. So that whole thing took place. So Demi Moore is married to John Hamm in the show. And so she's like in the waiting room of a hospital. John Hamm is in the hospital and Billy Bob Thornton shows up and she's like, yeah, he's in there with Jerry. Well, I hear that part and I'm like, I don't know who Jerry is. He walks in and Jerry Jones is telling this story. And I was like, wait, Jerry Jones is here now? What are we doing? And so at first I was like, oh, this is going to be hokey. Like, what are we doing? It was so good. I don't know if the story he told was true. It seemed very in line. He's talking about how he had planned his whole life to work with his children. And he got into the oil and gas industry because his daughter was going to school out in California at Stanford. I mean, all of that is true. So I was like, wow, this is weird.
When I saw that clip, I was like, I don't think he's acting. I think he's just talking from experience.
It was really kind of sweet. Listen, not a fan, but
a Jerry Jones fan, but I do appreciate when he's being authentic and real.
Yeah. And the storyline of like, he bought the Cowboys so they could do something together. I thought that was really cool.
What a neat thing. What a fantastic financial situation for your father to be in.
Yes. Wish my dad had thought of something like that. Yeah. Anyway.
I like that.
Yeah. Anything else for this week?
I don't think so. Next week, when we come back, we'll probably have some more coach firings and maybe hirings that we can talk about too. So,
and the wild card games will be done. It'll be interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, y'all.
Bye, y'all.